Now we've completed almost everything in the theory part from this chapter. Now we'll be looking into the most important questions that were asked previously in JEE Mains. Now I would recommend you all to first pause the video and then try to solve the question by yourself that has been given, and then look at the solution that has been provided. This will help you learn and know whether you have understood the chapter or not. Now in these questions, I haven't provided you with options which are generally given in JEE Mains, so that the difficulty level of the questions increase. Otherwise, there are a lot of shortcut tricks through which you can solve the questions. However, sometimes it is necessary for you to understand the concepts and not solve the question by any shortcut trick. So without further ado, let's start with the first question. If three positive number A, B and C are in an AP such that ABC is equals to 8, then the minimum possible value of B is. This question was asked in JEE Mains 2017. In those times, there used to be just one paper before pandemic, obviously. And there used to be 90 questions that were asked in the paper. So this was one of them. A good question, however, a very easy one. Let's solve this. So we have been provided with the information. Whenever you are solving questions, just try to write down each and every information that has been given to you in the question. This will help you solve half of the problem. We have also been provided with the information ABC is equal to 8. Then the minimum possible value of B is. So you must remember that when I was teaching relation between AM, GM and HM, I had told you whenever the question asks you about the minimum or maximum value, you are supposed to use the relation that was provided there. And what was the relation? The relation was AM greater than equal to GM greater than equal to HM. And you can see that multiplication of ABC has been provided here. So definitely you have to use GM and AM relation here. So we can say AM is greater than equal to GM. So what would be the AM of these three numbers? For three numbers, the AM would be A plus B plus C by 3. And the geometric mean would be A into B into C to the power 1 by 3. Since there are three numbers, so we make it to the power 1 by 3. So now let's solve this part. A plus B plus C, 3 times of ABC has been provided to us, which is 8 cube root, and we know the value of cube root of 8 is 2, so 3 2s are 6. So this is the first relation that we've got, and we have been asked the minimum possible value of B. So we just need to find out the value of B. So how do we, that means we need to eliminate A and C from this equation. So how do we do that? We have also been provided with the information that A, B and C are in AP. This means that 2B is equal to A plus C. We can write this. So in this equation, A plus B plus C greater than equal to 6, we can replace A plus C as 2B. So this would become 2B plus B greater than equal to 6, 3B greater than equal to 6, B greater than equal to 2. So we've got the minimum value of B. The minimum value of B would be 2. If we were to represent this on a graphical scale, let's say there is 2 here, the value of B ranges is greater than or equal to 2. It can be any value, it is greater than or equal to 2. So the minimum value that is possible of B is 2, obviously. So we've got that as the answer. Easy question, but again required you to know the concepts and know the trick to solve the question. Let's move on to the next question. Let A, B, C and D be positive real numbers such that A plus B plus C plus D is equals to 11. So let's write down whatever information has been given to us. If the maximum value of A to the power 5, B to the power 3, c square d is 3750 beta. So since this is the maximum value, we can say that a to the power 5 b cube c square into d would be less than equal to 3750 beta. Of course, since this is the maximum value, that means the value of this would definitely be either this or less than this. So we can write this one. Again, the concept that has been used in this question is similar, and this question was also asked in JEE Mains 2023 in one of the shifts. Again, we use the same conditions, which is AM greater than equal to GM greater than equal to HM. Now here, I hope you all can see that a to the power 5 b cube c square and d has been given. So that means we need to divide a in such a way so that whenever we multiply it, we get a to the power 5. That means we need to divide a into 5 parts. So we can say, let us write this a as a by 5 plus a by 5 we've divided a into 5 parts. Now the reason for this, whenever we multiply all these parts of a, we would get a to the power 5. Similarly, since b is cubed here, so we would divide b into 3 parts, b by 3. C square has been given, so we would divide c into 2 parts. And we do not need to divide d since it is given to the power 1. So we've been provided this equation. Now let's try to solve first via this inequality. AM greater than equal to GM. So the arithmetic mean of these numbers would be, let us take these numbers for example. So here we are considering that we have 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers in total. So the AM would be this is A plus B by 3 plus this is, we are writing the arithmetic mean of these 11 numbers that has been given, that we've just taken out, plus C by 2 plus C by 2 plus D. And to find the arithmetic mean, we need to add all these numbers and divide them by the number of them. So it is 11. This is greater than equal to GM, and the GM is So I hope you all remember, while finding geometric mean, we need to multiply all the numbers that we've just found out and then square and then root it inversely to the power the number of those items. C by 2 into D whole to the power 1 by 11. So I hope you must have understood how we've come to this inequality. And from here we know the value of this entire equation here of arithmetic mean is 11. This was given to us in the question, right? So 11 by 11 is greater than equal to, from here we would get a to the power 5 b cube c square into d divided by 5 to the power 5 3 cube 2 square to the power 1 by 11. So this is the value that we are getting. Let's take it to the next page. So this would now be 1 is greater than equal to the value that was given to us. This is to the power 1 by 11 2 by 11. And in the question we were also provided with the value of this. So we know one more inequality, which is a to the power 5 b cube c square d. This sorry for that, d is less than equal to 3750 beta. So now let's take the numerical values to the other side. So we would get 5 to the power 5 by 11, 3 to the power 3 by 11, and 2 to the power 2 by 11 is greater than equal to a to the power 5 b cube c square d to the power 1 by 11. Now let's multiply both. Now let's root both the sides. We will try to power both the sides to the power 11, so that we would get, let us power both the sides to the 11. This way what we are doing is we are trying to eliminate this 1 by 11 value that we've gotten. So 11 will get cancelled here and will get cancelled for each and every term here as well. So now we have a very simplified value, which is 5 to the power 5 3 cube 2 square greater than equal to a to the power 5 b cube c square d. And we have been provided that this value is less than equal to 3750 beta. So we can say from this and this equation we can conclude that 3750 beta is equal to 5 to the power 5, 3 to the power 3, and 2 to the power 2. I hope you all must have understood how we came to this conclusion. And what was asked to us in the question, we had to find the value of beta. So that would be, let's try to break it down so that we can cancel the values and calculate the value of beta easily. To 3 into 2 into 2. So now let's 5 and 2 gets cancelled with a 0. 5 7s are 35, 5 5s are 5 1s are 5 5s are 3 and 5 gets cancelled with 15. So what do we get the value of beta to be? 5 into 3 into 2, which is 30. So this is our answer. We've gotten the value of beta, and again the concept that were used in this question was same as we had used in the previous question. So I hope you all must have understood that JEE loves to ask question from the inequality of AM, GM and HM. Now let's move on to the next question. Now let's look at this question. This was asked in JEE Mains 2019, and this is from the sum of arithmetic mean. I hope you all must remember we had studied a formula for summation of n number of terms in an arithmetic progression. So this formula is based on that concept. Let's look at the question. Let the sum of the first n terms of a non-constant AP a1, a2, a3 be 50n plus n into n minus 7 a by 2, where a is a constant. So first let's write whatever has been provided to us. a1, a2, a3 up till an. This is an AP, and the sum of these n terms is equal to 50n plus n into n minus 7 a by 2, where a is a constant and d is the common difference of this AP. That means a2 minus a1 is equal to d. Then the ordered pair d comma a50. So firstly the answer in this question would be in terms of dA, in terms of A. So we have to find out the ordered pair D, comma A50. So first let's try to simplify this formula of summation that has been provided to us. So I hope you all remember the formula that we had studied. Tn is equal to Sn minus Sn minus 1. From this we can get the nth term of this arithmetic progression, and from there the solution of our question would become much easier. So let's solve this. Sn is 50n plus n into n minus 7 a by 2. I'm taking this 2 under a so that it becomes easier for us to calculate and visualize this entire scenario, minus Sn minus 1. So this would become 50 n minus 1. Let's take this under bracket so that we do not mess up with the signs of plus and minus, plus n minus 1, sorry for that, n minus 1 into n minus 8 a by 2. Let's try to simplify this. 50n plus n square a by 2 minus 7n a by 2 minus 50n plus 50 plus, sorry, this would become minus n square a by 2 plus n plus n a by 2. Then what would we get? Minus plus 8n a by 2, and finally minus 8 a by 2. So this is the equation of Tn that we've gotten. Now let's simplify this a bit more and get a very short equation for Tn. Then it would become very easy for us to solve this question. 50n gets cancelled out from each other. Minus n square a by 2 gets cancelled with plus n square a by 2. So what are we left with right now? Minus 7n a by 2 plus 50 plus n a by 2 plus 8n a by 2 minus 8 a by 2. So what can we, there are a few common terms here, n a by 2, so we can add those as well. Let's take this to the next page. So from here we can get 50 as it is, minus 8a by 2, so which becomes minus 4a, and we have n plus na by 2 plus 8na by 2, which becomes 9na by 2, and there is minus 7na by 2, so it becomes 2na by 2 plus na, since 2 and 2 would get cancelled from each other. So we've gotten the equation for Tn, which is 50 minus 4a plus na. Now what were we needed to find out? We needed to find D and A50. So since we know what Tn is, we know the common difference. D would be Tn minus 1. So from here we can write down 50 minus 4a plus na minus, let's take this into bracket, my 50 minus 4a plus n minus 1a. So from here 50 and 50 would get cancelled out, minus 4a plus 4a would get cancelled out, and we would get na minus na plus a. So na and na would also get cancelled out, and we get the value of common difference is equal to a. So we found out the first term of the ordered pair that we needed to find out, D, which is equal to a. and we needed to find the answer in terms of A only. So we found out what the value of D is. Now finding the value of A50 would become easy for us, since we know the nth term is 50 minus 4A plus NA. So we can write this as T50 is equal to 50 minus 4A plus 50A. This would make it 50 plus 46A. So we found out the value of the 50th term as well. This is equal to A50. So therefore we found out our answer to be D comma A50, a ordered pair, which is equal to A comma 50 plus 46A. This is our answer. Well, sorry for that. Again, this was the concept that were used in this question was very simple. However, just the thing is, you needed to visualize as to what formulas we needed to use in this entire question. So yes, this was asked in 2019. Now let's move on to the next question. This was asked in JEE Mains 2022 in one of the shifts. A1, A2, A3 be an increasing geometric progression of positive real numbers. If A1, A3, A5, A7, the product of all these four, is 1 by 1296 and A2 plus A4 is 7 by 36, then the value of this is. So let's write down whatever has been provided to us first. A1, A2, A3, we know this is in a geometric progression, and so on. And we've given the information that A1 into A3 into A5 into A7 is equal to 1 by 1296. And we've also been provided with the value of A2 plus A4 is equal to 7 by 36. Now try to visualize these two equations that have been provided to us. I hope you can see that A4 and A2 has been given here. That means if somehow we try to involve A2 or A4 in this given equation here, then we would be able to find out the value of the other number. And if we find out two numbers in a GP, then we can find out anything that has been provided to us. We can find out the common ratio, and we can also find out the nth term of the GP. So I hope you all remember this concept that we had studied. If there are, let's say, A1, A2, A3, let's write it till A7. If this is in GP, then I hope you must remember that the product of terms equidistant from beginning and end are equal. That means A1 into A7 would be equal to A2 into A6, would be equal to A3 into A5, and would be equal to twice into the middle term. Sorry, would be equal to the middle term square, A4 into A4, which makes it A4 square. So I hope you all can see now that we've simplified this equation in a very simpler form. So we have A1, A7, we have A3, A5. So that means we can write this one as A4 square from A1, A7, and we can write A4 square once again for A3 and A5. This becomes 1296. Let's solve it here, and we get A4 to the power 4 is equal to 1 by 1296. And if we were to find out the value of A4, we would get 1 by 1296 to the power 1 by 4, which would be equal to 1 by 6. Yes, 1 by 6. So now let's take this to the next page. We have found out the value of A4 to be 1 by 6, and we have been provided with this equation that A2 plus A4 is equal to 7 by 36. So now we can find out the value of A2, which it becomes a lot easier for us. 7 by 36 minus 1 by 6. Let's take the LCM. 36, 7 minus 6, which makes it 1 by 36. So we've got the value of A2 as well. Now since we know A2, we know A4. What are the terms that the value we needed to find out? We needed to find out the value of A6 plus A8 plus A10. So we needed to find A6 plus A8 plus A10. So there is a trick now how you can solve this question very easily without finding out the common ratio and without finding out what the nth term of this GP is. If you see A2, then we have A4, and we have been asked A6, A8 and A10. All these are in gaps of 2. They are all multiples of 2. That means if we try to find out A4 by A2, that would be equal to A6 by A4, and that would be equal to A8 by A6, and that would be equal to A10 by A8. If not, you all can multiply both. If you are not being able to understand how I came to this equation, then in a simplified format you can write it as A2 into A6 would be equal to A4 square. I hope you understand how I came to this equation. Here we had written down A2 into A6 is equal to A4 square. A2 into A6 is equal to A4 square, and we know the value of A2 is 1 by 36 and the value of A4 is 1 by 6. So from here we can find out what A6 is. 6 whole divided by 1 by 36, which makes it 1. Similarly, we can write down A4 into A8 would be equal to A6 whole square. I hope you all are understanding how I came to this equation now. If we were to write down A8 as well here, then we know A8 would pair up with A4, 7 would pair up with 5, and 6 would become square. That is how we got this equation. So we can find out the value of A8 from here. A6 is 1, whose square also remains 1, upon A4, which is 1 by 6. So this becomes 6. So we've gotten the value of A8 also to be 6. Gotten A6 is equal to 1. And now A10. Again, it becomes a lot easier for us. We can write down A8 whole square divided by A6. So A8 we have 6. 6 into 6 becomes 36, and A6 is 1. So A10 also comes out to be 36. Now what was asked to us in the question? This was asked to us in the question: A6, which is 1, plus A8, which is 6, plus A10, which is 36. So we get the answer to be 43. This is our answer. Again, a easy question, however, required a little bit of thought as to how you can use the product of terms equidistant from beginning and end concept in this question. Now we'll move on to the next. Now let's look at this question. And by the look of it, you must have guessed that this question is from the summation of series portion of sequence and series. Yes, correct. And they have used geometric progression along with summation of series in this question. And this was asked in JEE Mains 2020. So let us first see what has been given to us in the question, and let's write it down so that it becomes easier for us to solve. Let an be the nth term of a GP. That means A1, A2, A3 up till AN is the GP that has been provided to us, and we can write A1 as A, A2 as AR, A3 as AR square up till AR to the power n minus 1. We are assuming this is our GP. So here A1 would be equivalent to A, A2 would be equivalent to AR, and A3 would be equivalent to AR square. Now let's look at the other information that has been given to us in the question. We have been provided with summation n is equals to 1 up till 100, A 2n plus 1 is equal to 200. Now let's try to simplify this summation. If we were to put the value of n is equals to 1 in this A 2n plus 1, we would get A3. Then let's put n is equals to 2, we would get A5. Then we would get A7, and so on. If we were to put n is equals to 100, we would get A201, and the sum of all these is 200. Now let's try to simplify this equation by putting the values of A3 as AR square, A5 as AR to the power 4. Then we can find out that there will be another GP formed where we have to find out the summation, and then it would become easy for us to solve this question. So A3 can be written as AR square, AR to the power 4, and A7 can be written as AR to the power 6 up till AR to the power 200. This is equal to 200. Now from here we can take AR square as common. We would get 1 plus R square plus R to the power 4 plus up till R to the power 198. This is equal to 200. Now from here we can see that this value here, this is another summation series, that too of GP, and the ratio here, common ratio here is R square, and the first term here is A1. We are talking about only this series here. Let's take this here. So AR square, I hope you all must remember the formula that we had studied of summation of n terms in a GP, which is A into 1 minus R to the power n upon 1 minus R. So we will use that formula here. The value of A for this one is 1 into 1 minus R to the power. Since there are 100 terms in this GP, if you try to look it carefully, if not, you can see that the final term, the nth term here is R to the power 198. You can calculate it using the formula of Tn that we had studied, or I'll show it to you. R 198 is equal to AR to the power n minus 1. Since let us say we do not know how many terms are there in the sequence, so we need to find out the value of n. So here we know that R to the power 198, which is the nth term, A is 1, and R, common ratio is R square. So this would become R to the power 2n minus 2. Since R is squared, so 2 would be multiplied by n minus 1. And upon solving this, we would get n is equal to 100. Now here we wouldn't put the value of n to be 100. We would put it 200. The reason being, R is not simply just R. It is R squared. So basically it is in this format, R squared to the power n. So we can write this as R squared to the power 100, which would be R to the power 200 upon 1 minus R square is equal to 200. Now let us leave this equation as it is. We will come to this later in the question. This is our first equation. Now let's look at the other part that has been provided to us. Summation n is equals to 1 up till 100, same. A to n is equals to 100. So now initially in this one they had given us the summation of all the odd terms. Now they are providing us with the summation of all the even terms. So if we try to simplify this by putting n is equals to 1, then 2, and up till 100, we would get A2 plus A4 plus A6, and this goes on up till A200, which is equal to 100. And now let's do the same thing that we had done earlier. This would become AR plus AR cube. Sorry for that. Plus a r to the power 5 plus up till a r to the power 199 is equals to 100. Let's take this to the next page. Now from this equation you can see that we can take AR as common. So if we take AR common, we would get 1 plus R square plus R to the power 4 plus up till R to the power 198. Now again this becomes the same GP that we had seen while we were solving the odd terms summation. Similarly, we will do it here as well. So for here, AR and the sum of this series we had just found out to be 1 minus R to the power 200 upon 1 minus R square is equals to 100. This is our second equation. Now from the first and second equation you can see that the summation term, which is 1 minus R to the power 200 upon 1 minus R square, is common in both these equations. So let's try to divide equation 1 by equation 2 and see what we get. So we would get AR square upon AR. The summation term would be cancelled out. I hope you all can see that. This would be equal to 200 by 100. 0 zeros get cancelled, AR gets cancelled, so we would get R is equal to 2. So we found out the value of common ratio of this entire geometric progression using these two equations that were provided to us. Now I think our solution would become much easier. What has been given and what we need to find out, let's check that. We need to find out the summation of n is equal to 1 up till 200 a n. So this can be written as a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4 up till a200. And since we know that the value of r is 2, now let's try to solve this equation here. We would get a plus ar plus ar square up till ar to the power 199. This is what we have to find out, and we know the value of r here is 2. Now let's try to find out the value of a first. So if you look at both these equations that we have, ar into 1 minus r to the power 200 upon 1 minus r square is equal to 100, and the equation here in this one, the first equation, ar square, if you were to put r is equals to 2 in this equation and then try to calculate the value of a, it would become a lot difficult for us to calculate because r is to the power 200 and we wouldn't be able to calculate the value of a very easily from here. So how can we calculate the value of a so that we get what has been asked in the question? Let's try to think this through. In the first part, the odd terms one, a3 plus a5 plus a7 up till a201 has been given, the sum of these numbers. And in the second one, the even number one, a2 plus a4 plus a6 up till 200 has been given. So what if we add these two equations? That means I'm saying if we add n is equals to 1 up till 200, up till 100, a 2n plus 1 plus summation n is equals to 1 up till 100 a 2n. Wouldn't we get a2 plus a3 plus a4 plus a5 up till a201? And this, we can say this is equal to 300, since the value of this term is 200 and the value of this term is 100. So from here we can get 300 this to be the value. And we needed to find out the summation of this series where 201 is not there but a1 is there instead. So if we find out the value of a201, which would be equal to ar to the power 200, and a1 which is equal to a, here we know the value of r. So basically what we have to do here is subtract a201 and add a1 somehow. So from this equation, so how can we do this? We have been given r, which we've just found out to be 2. Now if you were to put r is equals to 2 in this equation, again it would be 2 to the power 200, which is impossible for us to calculate. So let's try to simplify this equation only a bit so that we can get this equation which has been asked to us in the question. Let's write this down in the forms of a and r. A2 can be written as AR, A3 AR square, A4 would become AR cube up till AR to the power 200 is equal to 300. Now let's say if I take R here common, if R is taken common here, then this would become A plus AR plus AR square. I hope you all must have understood how this thing is going on right now, is equal to 300. Now if you try to look at this equation, A is our A1, AR is our A2, and so on, and this is our A200. That means we've been successfully converted this equation into this format by taking R common here. That means this value here is R into summation n is equals to 1 200 up till 200 an is equal to 300, and so this value summation an would become 300 by r, and we had calculated the value of r which was 2, so this becomes 150, and this is our answer. This was a fairly lengthy question. This question was very easy, however a lengthy question would have taken a lot of time for students to do this question. So JEE generally asks a few questions from each and every chapter which are either very difficult or either very lengthy. So this was one of them. Now let's look at the other question. If GCD, which is the greatest common divisor of m and n, is equal to 1. So if the greatest GCD of any two numbers is equal to 1, that means what we can say for these two numbers, that both are prime. If both are prime, then only the greatest common divisor would be 1. And we have been given a sequence again here, and we've been asked to find out the value of m square minus n square, which is in the summation of this series. So let's try to solve this question. We have been given 1 square minus 2 square plus 3 square minus 4 square plus up till 2021 square minus 2022 square plus 2023 whole square. Now how can we simplify this? You can see that there is a positive term and a negative term. That means this is in the format of a square minus b square. So let's try to club all these type of numbers together. This would become 1 square minus 2 square plus 3 square minus 4 square plus, and this would go on up till 2021 square minus 2022 square, and we can see that 2023 is alone, it is not paired with any number along with it. So now we can write all of this as, since we know that the formula of a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b, so we can write this as 1 minus 2 into 1 plus 2. Same for this equation, 3 minus 4 into 3 plus 4. Same for all of the terms and for this equation, this number as well, 2021 minus 2022 into 2021 plus 2022 plus 2023 remains as it is, the way it was. Now if you try to look at this sequence that has been given to you, what can you make out from this sequence? That 1 minus 2, this is minus 1. In each and every term, 3 minus 4, there is there is minus 1 coming here. This is also minus 1. So that means minus 1 is common in each and every term. So we can take that out common, and then what would we be left with? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus up till 2021 plus 2022. Again 2023 remains as it is. Now we see that this is an AP, summation of series of an AP. With common difference is equal to 1. And if you try to look at this more closely, this is a standard result that we had studied. This is the summation of n natural numbers here. So we can write this as minus 1 into n into what used to be the, let us write it here, sum of n natural numbers. This used to be n into n plus 1 by 2. So let's write it down here. What is n here? N is 2022, 2022 into 2023 upon 2 plus 2023 remains as it is again. Now from here, if you look at both these equations, first let's cancel out this one with this 1011. If you see in both these terms, 2023 is common, so let's take that as common. Let's do it here in this page. So 2023 is taken out as common. What would we be left with? 2023 minus 1011. I hope you are understanding how we are getting this. And in the question they had already given us that this summation of series is equal to 1012 m square n. So we can write this as 1012 m square n. Now let's solve this. We would get 2023 into 1012. So this and this would get cancelled. So m square n is equal to 2023. Now we know m and n both are supposed to be prime numbers. So this is m into n. Now here you have to use your hit and trial method. What are the values of m and n that are going to satisfy this equation, and both have to be prime numbers. So here if we look at m, if we take this to be 17 and n to be somewhere around 7, then I guess this would satisfy this equation. So this would become 17 into 7, which is equal to 2023. This would become 289 into 7, which would come out to be 2023. So we've solved this equation and we've got m is equal to 17 and n is equal to 7. And both are prime numbers, so their GCD will always be 1. So we found out the value of m and n here. Now what was asked to us in the question? We needed to find the value of m square minus n square. M square minus n square. So we can write it as 17 square minus 7 square. This is 289 wholes minus 49. So this is 240. This is our answer. I would say this was a fairly easy question. This could have been solved. The only thing that you needed to do was spend a little time just to visualize as to how you can arrange the numbers in a sequence. So remember this thing, whenever you are solving questions of summation of series, try to arrange the numbers in such a way that you yourself will find out that there is a certain pattern that the numbers are following, and from there you can use just simple formulas and find out the answer. Now let's move on to the next question. This was asked in JEE Mains 2020. Again, a question of summation of series. Let's try to solve this one. 1 plus 1 minus 2 square into 1 plus 1 minus 4 square into 3 plus 1 minus 6 square into 5 up till 1 minus 20 square into 19. And the value of this has been given to be alpha minus 220 beta. So we need to find the value of alpha and beta. So again, now a series has been provided to you. Now try to find out a pattern that it has been following. First of all, you can see that 1 is outside, so we can write it as it is, and in each and every term there is a 1 added in each and every term. That means that first of all there are 20 terms in this equation. I'm sorry, there are 10 terms in this equation. It is up till 20, so 10 terms are there in this equation. Now let us say if you weren't able to find out the number of terms in this equation, you can simply calculate it. Try to look at this number here, 1, 3, 5, and it goes up till 19. That means the nth term here is 19, and we know the formula of Tn whenever there is an AP. This is an AP with common difference 2, a plus n minus 1 d. So let's use that formula here. 1 plus n is something we need to find out, and d is 2 here. So this would become 18 by 2 is equals to n minus 1. So n would come out to be 10. That means there are 10 times 1 has been added here. So we can add 1 simply just here, 10 simply here. And now let's look at the sequence. It's minus 2 to the power 2 into 1, minus 4 square into 3, minus 6 square into 5, and this goes on up till minus 20 square into 19. Now what can you find out from this equation? That 2 square, if you try to write this in the form of a common ratio, or let's say in any variable form, how can you write it? You can say that this is 2 into r whole square into 2 into r minus 1, and in this part r is ranging from r is from 1 up till 10. I hope you can try to find out this thing here, this term. If you are able to identify and write down this type of term in any sequence, then of course your questions are solved. So here 1, 3, 5 has been given. That means it could either be 2r plus 1 or 2r minus 1. However, in the last term it is 19. That means it is r minus 1. So it would have been 2r minus 1. And here I found out 2r by looking at the numbers. It is 2, 4, 6, then 8, then 10. So it is getting multiplied by 2. So r square. So now let's simplify this thing and take minus 1 common here. So we would get 11 minus summation of r is equals to 1 up till 10, 2r whole square into 2r minus 1. Now this is an equation that we've got. Let's try to solve this. 10, this is 4r square, 4 to the 8r cube minus 4r square. Now I hope you remember we had studied in summation of series a few standard results where we had studied the cubes of sum of cubes of all natural numbers and squares of all natural numbers. That is exactly what we need to apply here. So we can write down this entire equation as minus summation r is equals to 1 to 10 8r cube, and then there is minus, so this would become plus r is equal to minus 1 to 10 4r square. I hope you all have gotten how we've came to this conclusion. Now it is easy for us to solve. Here we know r is equal to 10, so for cube, let us write it down here. Cubes, sum of cubes of natural numbers. We remember the formula was n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6, and the sum of, I'm sorry, I just did a little messed up. This is sum of squares of natural numbers, and this is sum of cubes of natural numbers. This is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square, which can be written as n square by 4 n plus 1 whole square. I hope you remember these standard results we had studied earlier during the theory lectures. Now let's use it here. Here we know that n, which is r used here, is equal to 10. So for cube, this would become 10 into 11 whole square by 4 plus 4 is common, so we take that out. R square, so 10 into 11 into 2n plus 1, so this would become 21 upon 6. Now let's solve this equation. 11 minus 4 2s are 8, so we would get 2 into 100 into 121 plus, let's solve this equation. 3 2s are 6, 3 7s are 21, 2 5s are, so we would get 4 into 55 into 7. Now let us see what was asked. This, okay, so we had to find out the value of alpha and beta, and this was given to us, that this entire summation is equal to alpha minus 220 beta. So let's try to convert this in the form of this, alpha minus 220 beta. Then it would become easier for us to solve the equation. Let us say that 11 is alpha. Let us assume for the time being, and try to convert this in the form of 220. So can we do that? Yes. 11 minus, we are taking 10 from here, 10 from here, 11 from here, and 2 from here. If we multiply these three terms, we would get 220. And what would be left out? 10 into 11 plus 55 into 4. This simply gives us 220 into 7. Now this is just arrangement of numbers based on the equation that has been provided to you in the question. This is nothing very difficult. Let us take plus 220 common. We would get minus 110 plus 7. So we've gotten 11 plus 220, and this is minus 103. So if we take out the minus, 11 minus 220 into 103. So you can, if you try to compare this equation with this one, we can see that the value of alpha is 11 and the value of beta is 103. So our ordered pair would become 11, 103, and this was what was asked to us in the question. Again, a question of summation and summation of series, where you had to find out how you can try to arrange the numbers and find out certain pattern, so that you can simply use the formulas that we have studied. Now let us solve this question, and by the look of it, you must have made out that this question is based on geometric means, and there has been a use of arithmetic mean as well. So let's write down whatever has been given to us in the question, and before that we need to remember that we have to answer in terms of L, N and M. That means we have to include all these 3 points in our include all 3 variables. There were options given in JEE Mains 2015 for this question, and you had to find out the best suited answer according to the options that were given. So let's write down what has been given to us. If M is the arithmetic mean of two distinct real numbers L and N, so we know M is the arithmetic mean, that means M is equal to L plus N by 2, and we can write this as 2M is equals to L plus N. Next, what it has given us, that G1, G2, G3 are 3 geometric means between L and N. That means L, G1, G2, G3 and N. This has been given to us, and then we need to find out the sum of these geometric means to the power 4 and then added and all those things. So now this is a very simple question, nothing, just you need to apply the formula that has been given to you. I hope you remember that the common ratio, whenever there were n geometric means added between numbers a and b, the common ratio would be b by a to the power 1 by n plus 1. So here b is n, a is L, to the power 1 by 4, since there are 3 geometric means added. Now let's find out the value of G1. We know L is equal to A. G1 can be said to be AR. This can be said to be AR square. G3 would be AR cube. So similarly, let's find out G1. This would be A into R. Here A is L and R is N by L to the power 1 by 4, which makes it L to the power 3 by 4 and to the power 1 by 4. This is our G1. Let's find out G2 in the similar manner. L into N by L to the power 1 by 2, since it is AR square. So 2 by 4 would become 1 by 2. And we would get L to the power half, N to the power half, G2. Similarly, let's find G3. N by L to the power 3 by 4. This can be written as L to the power 1 by 4 and N to the power 3 by 4. Now since in the answer, the answer that they are expecting us is based on G1 to the power 4, G2 to the power 4 and G3 to the power 4. So let us first find out what G1 to the power 4, G2 to the power 4 and G3 to the power 4 would be. And then we will look at how we can replace L and N with M as well, so that we get the answer in terms of all three variables. Now if we were to look at this three numbers that we've got, G1, G2, G3, and if we add all these three, there wouldn't be any term of M here. So we have to use a bit of simplification of equations so that we can include M as well. We will try to create L plus N somewhere so that we can replace it with 2M and get our answer. So let's do it here in the next page. G1 to the power 4. Again, squaring this twice would give us L cube into N. Similarly, let's find out G2 to the power 4. This would give us L square N square. Let's find out G3 to the power 4. This would give us L into N cube. And as per the question, we have to find out this equation. So let's put all these values in this manner. L3N plus twice L square N square plus Ln cube. Let's take Ln common here. So we would get L square plus 2 Ln plus N square. Now if you look closely at this equation that we've got here, L square plus 2 Ln plus N square, this can be written as L plus N whole square. And from the arithmetic mean relation that was given in the question, we can say that 2M is equal to L plus N. So we've successfully been able to indulge L plus N in our answer so that we can replace it with 2M. So our answer would become Ln 2M whole square, and this would be equal to 4M square L into N. So this is our answer. There were options given in the question. You had to find out the most suited option according to this equation. This was an easy question, only formula based, and this was asked in JEE Mains 2015. Now let's look at another question. In JEE Mains 2015, there were two questions from sequence and series asked in the same paper. This was the second one. Let's look at this. Again, a question based on summation of series. The sum of first 9 terms of the series. Now there is a series given and we have to find out the sum of first 9 terms. So basically what we will try to do is we will try to find out the nth term of this series. If we are able to find out the nth term of the series, and then it would become very easy for us to find out the summation of it using the notation sigma that we had studied before. So let's write down what would be the n term of this series. If you look at there would be again 2 terms, one in the numerator and the denominator. Let's divide it into 2 and then solve it one by one. If you look at the numerator portion, first there is 1 cube, then there is 1 plus 2, then there is 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube, then it would be 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube plus 4 cube. That means basically it is nothing but the sum of cubes of natural numbers. And we had studied the standard result of sum of cubes of natural numbers, which was n square by 4 into n plus 1 whole square. So we've gotten the numerator of the nth term. Now let's look at the denominator term. There is 1, then there is 1 plus 3, then we've got 1 plus 3 plus 5. That means this is the sum of all the odd numbers. And I hope you remember the sum of odd numbers used to be n square. So we can write down n square simply here. N square would cancel each other. So the nth term of this series comes out to be n plus 1 whole square by 4. If we were to simplify this, we would get n square plus 1 plus 2n by 4. This is our nth term. Now we have to find out the sum of first 9 terms of this series. So we can simply write this down as summation n is equals to 1 up till 9 tn. This way we could get the summation of this series. So this would become n is equals to 1 up till 9. Let's take 1 by 4 outside, which is common. So this would become n square plus 2n plus 1, which in turn we can write this down as 1 by 4 summation n is equals to 1 up till 9 n square plus summation n is equals to 1 up till 9 2n plus summation n is equals to 1 up till 9 1. So again, here we have to use all the standard formulas that we had studied. The sum of n squares of all n natural numbers, this would be n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So here n is 9, so we can write down n, directly write down n into 10, 9 into 10 into 2n plus 1, so this would become 19 upon 6, plus let's take 2 outside for common, and summation of n natural numbers, this would be 9 into 10 upon 2, and we are adding 1 9 times, so this would give us 9. So from here 2 and 2 would get cancelled out, 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 2 5s are 15. So here we get 1 by 4, 15 into 19 plus 90 plus 9. Now let's simply find out the answer. 19 into 15, let's find out this. 15 9s are 135, 15 1s are 15, and if we add 13 to it, we would get 8 28, so 285. And if we add 90 to this, we would get 5 7 375, and then we have to add 9 as well, we would get 384. Thus our answer comes out to be 384 by 4, where we can cancel it more further. 4 9s are 36, 4 6 are, therefore our answer comes out to be 96. The sum of 9 terms of this series is 96. Again, an easy question of summation of series. The only thing was you need to visualize how the nth term of the sequence can be written down. And there were two. This was the second question in JEE Mains 2015 paper that was asked from the same chapter. So that was all for this chapter. I hope you all must have understood how the arithmetic, geometric, harmonic and the summation of series generally work, and I hope each and everything about this chapter has been clear to you. Now this again is a chapter where it requires a lot of practice, so I would recommend you all to practice even more questions so that you can get a good hold of summation of series and geometric and arithmetic mean questions. Thank you.